This time round, I thought we'd take a look at natural gas. It's always a popular market, I think, due to its volatility over the last few years. And I think for a lot of people, it's a frustrating market. I think historically, when we've seen big rises in the gas price, like into the summer of 2022, plenty of people were trying to pick the top, were going short, and were wrong. And then when we saw the big decline into last year, plenty of people trying to pick the bottom on the way down, and we're wrong there. You know, we've seen it's a market that's gone from $10 in the summer of 2022 to briefly below $2 last year. Incredibly volatile market. It's been a good month though for the gas price. So I thought, let's take a look at it in a bit more detail. So as usual in this video, I'll run through some of the recent news around natural gas, then we'll jump on the charts, see what it looks like. I think there is a trade there to do. We'll set that trade up and see where I think the price might go from here. Before we get into that, if you watched any of these videos before, you know I do a few other things. I run a trading course, been running it for a few years now. As part of the trading course is a WhatsApp group. I opened the WhatsApp group up to anybody who wants to join in the summer of last year. If you'd like to try the WhatsApp group, if you go to the website is davidjonestrading.co.uk. The link will be in the description to the video, and if you use the code YouTube, you can try it for a month with 20% off. And with the WhatsApp group, it's daily updates from me, markets I'm watching, trades I'm running, all of that sort of stuff. And I look at a mix of different markets. If you watch the live streams, you know, major indices, FX, commodities. I'm doing more with US stocks this year. I talked about that a bit last week on the live stream. So there's a whole mix of different markets that I look at in the WhatsApp group. So the details are there in the description, and also of the broker that I'm working with. If you want to know what broker I use, there's a link there to sign up, and I do various webinars and coaching through that broker. But for now, let's get into natural gas and talk about it a bit more. So it's been a great month. If you go back to mid-December, where the price was now, where it is now, price of natural gas is up by 40% over the past month. That is a fantastic run. We've seen it almost, but not quite, but almost this month push back to a 12-month high. So back to where it was late January of last year. So it's interesting, and it's also interesting when you look at longer term forecasts for natural gas for 2024. This is the time of year when, you know, plenty of people will come out with long range forecasts. It's quite hard to find them on natural gas. It appears to be a market that people don't want to be pinned down by, which perhaps isn't surprising, you know, given, you know, this is a market that was $10 18 months ago and then $2 a year ago. You know, it is an incredibly volatile market. So trying to come up with a December 2024 price for natural gas is perhaps an enviable position. I definitely won't be doing it, but I think in the short to medium term, there are opportunities. But driving this rise over the last month, we've had, I suppose, you know, to use a bit of a cliche, something of a perfect storm for natural gas. We've seen natural gas supplies in the US drop by the most in more than a year. So again, we have perhaps a supply imbalance. We've seen heating demand set to hit a record high today, I think, partially caused by this Arctic blast that's caused temperatures to plummet. So as ever, you know, what's going on with the weather has an impact on the price of natural gas. But let's not forget that markets are forward looking. So if you look out your window today and there's 6 foot of snow out there, if you're in the US, and you wonder, well, why is the natural gas price falling the last couple of days? Because markets are always looking forward, you know, and perhaps expectation, one of the things that's driven the price over the last month has been expectation of this colder weather. But, you know, there's always two sides to every story. This week we've heard from Bloomberg, who are forecasting a slowdown in demand for natural gas in China due to their weaker economy. So we've definitely had a short-term boost, and that's a massive boost over the last month, a 40% rise in the price of natural gas. But there are potentially storm clouds on the horizon from a China point of view because of slowdown in their economy. As ever, I think it's a really hard market to forecast medium-term natural gas, but I do think there are some short-term opportunities based on what's going on in the price now. So as usual, let's jump on the charts and take a look at things in a bit more detail and see if there's a trade to be set up here. So let's just give ourselves a reminder, just in case we needed it, but what's been going on with natural gas in recent years. So 2021, the price was around $2.50, and we had the run up. Of course, we had the Russian invasion of Ukraine, pushed plenty of energy markets higher. That carried on with natural gas, and eventually we saw the highs set in August 22, around about $10. Back then was the high for natural gas, and then from August 22 into around about April of 23, we just saw this massive decline that eventually saw the price of gas slip below $2. If we jump forward in time, we did have the price try status recovery, and by October last year, was trading up around $3.30, that sort of level. But again, natural gas, just when it looks like the recovery is chugging along, it goes crashing back through that trend and traded as low, going back to mid-December, down around 2.16. And here we are now again, trading just below 3 at the time of recording. So, it's a really volatile market. If you've ever looked at natural gas, you'll know that. We saw the price just last week, 9th of January, so a week ago from recording this video. The price traded up to 3.44, and here we are now trading at 2.97. So the price has dropped, about 12, 13% just over the last week. So it's a very volatile market, as we know, natural gas. If we take a look at something like the RSI, it did go overbought. This is a 10-day RSI on natural gas, so it did go overbought on the way up. The last time it was overbought was back here in October. That did mark the high, so perhaps we have seen an important high for the natural gas price. It went oversold down here mid-December, which eventually did mark the low. But you'll see when the RSI moves into an extreme, the price of gas carries on going with the trend, so it doesn't call the top perfectly. RSI's overbought, oversold indicators are notoriously early, but here we are, we're trading at 297. The RSI has dropped back to about 50%, so there's not too much to take from that. But for me, where I think the opportunity is, let's flip this over to an hourly chart, is looking at this trend from mid-December, from those lows on the 13th, round about 218, and we saw it push as high as 340. What's going to happen next? So this, for me, is the trading idea in natural gas. So I would still like to be a buyer. I just want to wait for the price to stop falling. So let's look at some possible levels where we could see this market bounce. So for me, I'm looking at previous support levels. So, one of the ones I'm going to look at is this one here, 292. This is the 9th of Jan low before the price really surged on that day. We saw the price trade up to, 344 on that day. That was a big day. It wasn't quite a 20% move, but it wasn't far off a 20% move on the day. So I think it's interesting. We're only 5 cents above this level at the moment. Let's see how this performs over the next couple of days. So for me, I'm absolutely thinking about being a buyer. When it comes to a stop, I probably want to be thinking about below at least these lows here from the 5th of Jan. So the 5th of Jan lows coming in around 273 or thereabouts. So maybe I'll go, 268 for a stop. So I'd like to buy when the market stops sliding and put a stop, assuming it hasn't taken out that level before it stops sliding, the other side of 268. So I think that's an interesting trade, looking to see if the price of natural gas can have another go at these sort of 340, 345 levels. I think if we start to lose that 270 area, then clearly this trend from mid-December is in a lot of trouble. We would have taken out the trend line on the way down, taken out that support, and it starts to look as if the trend is over. But for me, my position, and of course nobody knows, but my position, trading the probabilities, is, well, look, the trend is still up. We've seen quite a vicious sell-off. That's nothing new in natural gas. We do get these big moves. I want to be a buyer. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave an order to buy. So I'm going to leave an order to buy a couple of cents, 5 cents lower than where the market's trading now, and with a stop the other side of 270. Let's set that up. Right, I'm ready to go. I've set the order up. I'm going to trade the February contract for natural gas. Currently 296 to buy. I'm putting an order in to buy at 290, so about 6 cents lower than where we are now. If that order gets filled, put a stop loss in at 265. So below that support I identified. I'm going to buy one, and my risk here is £250 on this trade. So that order is going to sit there. If the price turns round before getting to 290, then I'm going to miss the trade. But if it carries on edging lower, the trade will get filled. Let's see how it turns out. So if I click on place the order, it sends that through, and that order is going to sit there. And let's see if it gets hit. To find out more about the broker I trade with, I run webinars for clients who've joined via me. There is a link in the description below if you'd like to sign up. There's a link in the text to this video. And that's it for me on natural gas at the moment. We've had this great trend. I think a few people in the WhatsApp group I run have been in on this trend. It's a volatile market, as ever. Lots of volatility just over the last week or so. You know, big swings in this market. I think it's interesting to see where it goes. Now we've had this run up. We've had the cold weather. Is that it now for natural gas, or are we going to see another go? For me, I'm wondering if we will see this 270 to 292 area hold up the price. Let's see how it works out. And as usual, we'll take a look and do an update in this Friday's live stream. So for now, that trend is still going in natural gas. We've had a couple of days of the price easing back, but I think there are some really obvious levels to watch. It'll be interesting to see what happens and whether these old lows do come back into play and we see the natural gas price start to move higher once again. As usual, we'll take a look at it in this Friday's live stream. I do the live streams every Friday at 2:30 UK time, which is, what's that, 9:30 US Eastern time. So if you're new to the channel, if you click on subscribe and press the notification button, you get notified when the live streams go ahead. To find out more about the training course I do, the WhatsApp group and the broker, all that sort of information, go to the website, davidjonestrading.co.uk. You can see a lot more information there. And if you use the code YouTube, you can join the WhatsApp group for a 20% discount in the first month. That's it for this update on natural gas. Plenty more updates to come. Let's see if this trend continues and where the price is over the next few days. But until the next time, good luck with your trading.